On this episode of Sign Dawgs, we are going to do an unusual sign for Blue Oval, which is a showcase for antique vehicles that they revitalize, spruce up. It's hard to explain. You just got to see it.
Every day we look at signs. Some are beautiful, others not so much. For a business, any business, a good sign is crucial. So where does a good sign come from? Who creates these tantalizing works of art? In the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, it's done right here by the people at Signs Manufacturing, the people we call the Sign Dawgs.
We tend to think of signs as just a strict marketing tool. You know, the sign is designed to bring in customers and generate business, and that's absolutely true for 90% of businesses. But there is an aesthetic appeal to the signs that is also equally important to certain types of business. For instance, if you are an attorney, that sign on your building is not really drawing in clients. What it's doing is it's establishing an image, a reputation, a first impression of you, and that is equally important to you. So, in this particular case, with Blue Oval, that sign is not really pulling in customers. What it's doing is it is an artistic piece. In fact, I hesitate to even call it a sign. It's a symbol. It's a piece of art that draws the eye and makes you look at it and say, wow, that's really cool. And that's really the whole theme for the whole business. They're a toy shop for adults. They're a museum of awesome cars. And this is just another piece of that museum.
I'm a real live wire and I never tire. Yes, sir, I'm a red hot shot. I can cook your meals, turn the factory wheels, cause I'm Ready Kilowatt. When you toast your toast or you roast your roast, it is I who makes them hot. I'm in your TV set with every show you get, cause I'm Ready Kilowatt. I'm the little man who's always there. I'm a powerful high voltage guy. I'm so full of spark I can light up the dark, and you should see me wink my electric eye. I wash and dry your clothes, play your radios, I can heat your coffee pot. I am always there with lots of power to spare, cause I'm Ready Kilowatt. Remember, just plug in. I'm ready.
Need your clothes washed? Need your dishes cleaned? Let Ready do it. Ready Kilowatt. Most of you probably don't remember that, but Ready Kilowatt for 50 years was an iconic image of American expansion, of the glories of modern technology and what it was doing to people's lifestyles, and just really improving things from where we'd been before, where you had to do everything by literally hand. Now, there's electricity and the electric appliances, and what amazing things that can do to your life. Well, we got a hold of a Ready Kilowatt sign, or a customer of ours did, and we convinced him to let us refurbish that sign to bring it back to new and mount it on his building and give him a real piece of Americana that just restored and brought back and made to really enhance his building for his garage slash business slash wow, look at all my neat cars place. The sign should turn out amazing because you got the Ready Kilowatt and it is in very poor shape. It's rusted. The exterior finish is coming off in some places. We will fix all of that. Then we will redesign and rebuild all the neon on it so that it looks authentic to the original. We're also going to take it, we're going to turn it from single face to make it double face so that we can mount it flag mounted off a building rather than mounted to the wall like it was originally.
If you stumble upon an 80-year-old neon sign that you want to revitalize, please bring it to us. We love this stuff. This is Ready Kilowatt. This is an old sign that had neon on it that we kind of affectionately call it Mr. Sparky. It's just a beautiful artistic piece from a long time ago that really needs a facelift, and we can't wait to get our hands on it.
When you're restoring old signs, there's a common problem that tends to rear its ugly head. And that is that back in the 50s and the 40s, paint, by today's standards, was terrible. It was really, really bad. And so most of the signs from back then, especially the ones that have survived to today, were not painted. They were actually coated with a porcelain enamel over the top of them, which made like a shell over the top. And the porcelain had dyes and that mixed into it, and that way it would retain its color and hopefully look good for a long period of time. And that system worked pretty well. But the problem that you run into with a porcelain enamel is that because you have a substrate and then you have the enamel over the top, when the substrate rusts, the enamel starts to come up and flake and peel off. And you cannot fix it. There's nothing that can be done to fix it, which is the advantage of the modern paint systems once we actually got good ones. Well, with Ready Kilowatt, this is a big problem. The face of the sign is covered with porcelain enamel. We don't want to change that. Even though it's flaking a little bit, and even though it's come off in a few places, we're not even gonna try to replace that, because it's authentic to the original sign. And the sign is, in fact, 60, 70 years old. So having it have a little bit of that left, we're okay with that. The other side, however, since we're putting a back on it, we're gonna do with the modern enamels and paints and all of that. And the new sides and all of that will be done in the modern way. Why? Because it'll last a lot longer. Don't get me wrong, porcelain it's a good product and it lasts, I mean, the sign's 70 years old. It's still kind of got the porcelain there, it's good. But the modern paints and that are way better, and they can be, the life of them can be extended, which porcelain cannot be.
Mr. Ledbetter has a showcase of antique cars, a large showroom that you can come see. And these are all antiques, just like Mr. Sparky, as we call it, but Ready Kilowatt. This is an antique sign that goes right along with, this guy has this nice synergy with all these antique vehicles. He restores the cars, we're going to restore the sign. This is just gonna fit right in. It's a pairing made in heaven.
So the sign is covered in neon. Lots and lots of neon. There's multiple colors. The neon is, well, let's just say that it presents its own set of challenges. That's kind of a theme for this episode as well. Look at all the challenges, taking this old sign and restoring it for modern use. The problem in this case is that the neon, first of all, all the wiring and electrical components for the neon have to be crammed into Freddy's arms and torso, which is kind of this lightning bolt thing. There's not much space to do it with. But more importantly than that, from our perspective, is that because neon operates at such high voltage, around 15,000 volts, it is very easy for that electrical current to arc to the metal around it. And if that happens, it won't necessarily not make the sign work, but it'll definitely lower the life of the sign. But it will present a hazard to people around there, obviously. Touch that sign and yeah. But worse than that, it also causes can cause electrolysis in the metal, which can cause delamination of the actual porcelain coating on the sign, thereby ruining an antique. So we want to be really, really careful about that. And the way we're going to stop this is we're going to take and cover every single electrical component with a rubber sheathing that will insulate it from everything around it. It also has a byproduct effect of keeping water out which is great because if water gets to your neon components, it can boil, and as the heat expands, it can cause your electrical connections to kind of come apart a little bit, and that can lead to electrical shorts and all sorts of non-fun stuff. Well, we got that covered.
Signs manufacturing is not a stranger to restorations. We like doing this kind of work. It's unique and creative, and we like that stuff. We've done it many times before. There's a trick when you're talking about lighting like this with the neon, because a lot of the old ways that the neon was put together, the parts are failed and you have to replace them, and finding something that fits the same location is sometimes very difficult to do. There's different sizes and everything that were used over time as technology changes. There's just a lot that you have to look at when you're going through this. And then in this particular case with Ready Kilowatt, we have essentially, we're like a painter restores a painting where they actually paint over it, and we're having to restore and replace a lot of the components of it to make it new and make it look new again. And there's a lot of work that goes into it, but it's just this is right up our alley.
One last challenge that we face here. The building that we're mounting this thing to, turns out the building is as old as the sign is. And the brick of the building is none too solid. Well, if we're gonna flag mount this sign off the building and the wall is kind of shaky, then the sign is kind of shaky. So what we're doing is we're actually going to make our mounting bracket with a V mount. And that V will then attach to the wall, and that way we can secure it on both sides to spread the load out on the wall. We're also going to take that plate and extend it all the way down to the ground. That way the weight of the sign is actually primarily supported by the cement underneath the building, not the building itself.
If you find yourself northwest of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and you notice a little town called Mineral Wells on your GPS, swing by and check out the sign. You can't miss it. It's right there visible on the street, red neon, beautiful structure. And stop on in and take a look at Finley's nice, beautiful assortment of antique vehicles. It will be something you'll remember for a long time.